Not fake, just different. It'll show you a different way. And right now, I'm on to my different way. I can promise you this is the same Spann, but the reporting is over. I'd like to welcome you to the Mr. Spann official podcast. Let's go. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Mr. Spann official podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Spann. This is episode number 51 of the show. And yeah, man, we are getting a very late start on tonight's show, man. As a matter of fact, we getting a late start for the week anyway, because I normally would be doing this shit on a Sunday, man. Yeah, man, but I've been tied up with a lot of, little personal stuff or whatever. So, I get to the mic when I can get to the mic. But we done got to the mic tonight. So, yeah, man, we got a lot of stuff. Well, not a terrible amount of shit to talk about, but we got some stuff to talk about, right? And, I already got my man Adam in the chat room, man. Shout out to my man Adam Cook, man. Good evening, Mr. Spann. Good evening to you too, sir. And, yeah, man, but, we got some things we're going to talk about. The Olympics is over with. The politics is kicking up. We got some strange shit happening in the country or whatever. So we're going to talk about all of that. But of course, before we do all that, I got to remind you guys how to get in touch with us over here at the Mr. Spann official podcast and let your voice be heard, man. You can go ahead and hit up that hotline at area code 313-288-0485. That's 313-288-0485. Leave us those voicemail messages, and of course, those messages will get played here and responded to here live on the show. And if you're watching the show live via YouTube or Facebook, you can chop it up with your man Spann while we're doing the show, man. So hit up that hotline again. That's area code 313-288-0485. You can also email us here at feedback@thespanreport.com. That's feedback@thespanreport.com. Go ahead and leave us those emails, and of course those emails will get read here and reply to here live as well. You can also hit me up on Threads and Instagram. My name on both of those platforms is Mr._Spann. So go ahead and follow me there. Chop it up with your man Spann throughout the week. And on Fridays, man, if you watch, well, I'm sorry, I don't even be watching it on Fridays. I catch it on Saturday. Love at the Lockup. If you don't love at the lockup, you want to talk about that shit, I'll come over to Twitter with y'all. I'll fuck with y'all on that, on the love at the lockup. Because for whatever reason, man, I cannot find my motherfucking tribe on Threads for the love at the lockup. I don't know what it is, man. I don't know what it is. All the ratchets might just be on Twitter, though. That might just be what it is. But yeah, man, we got that going on. Also, leave us a 5-star review on iTunes and or Spotify, man. Those 5-star reviews are the ones that get right here live on the show. We really appreciate everybody who does that. Doesn't cost you a dime, just a couple minutes of your time to let everybody know why you're rocking with us over here at the Mr. Spann official podcast and the Spann Report podcast network in its entirety. And also, if you're watching us on YouTube, man, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel, man. It's the Spann Report on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Like the channel, like the videos, leave comments there. If you're leaving those comments, we'll read those comments here live, and it will be a part of the conversation. So there's a plethora of ways you can get at us and be a part of this conversation, and we really do hope you take advantage of all these ways. Also, if you want to support us monetarily, we do have a store, man. We got a store over at TeePublic. The link will be in the show notes, man. Go over there if you want to copy yourself some merch, get yourself a t-shirt, get yourself a coffee mug, get yourself a hoodie, because fall is coming up pretty soon, man. It's gonna be here like that. So yeah, man. If you wanna, participate and help us out, that man, in that way, we really do appreciate it, man. Real talk. But yeah, man. Like I said, not a whole lot going on. But the last time I was talking to y'all, man, I was talking to y'all about the fact that I had got my AC back working and shit, right? Yeah, about that. I think that shit back out. Yeah, man, and that this might not be the fix that your man Spann think he gonna be able to do. It ain't the same problem that it was before. It's some other shit going on, man. So I'm gonna have to call my fellas and see what we can do for it. Luckily for me right now, it's not terribly warm, you know what I'm saying? But I remember that those couple weeks before, it was brutal, bro. So yeah, man, the joys of home ownership, right? Because I got to get that shit fixed, man. Can't be in here without no AC, man. You got that going on. Also, let's see. Oh yeah, so I actually had an extra 2 days off of work. So normally around this time I would be in New Orleans, right? I would be in New Orleans for this would be my 9th wedding anniversary. Me and my wife, we've been married 9 years now. Some niggas would be like, "God damn!" And I'm just like, I love my wife, so there's that. And but we would normally be in New Orleans, but family things kind of got in the way. So we didn't go to New Orleans to celebrate like we would normally. But so I had some days off, right? I had some days off. I just didn't know that I had 2 more extra days. So I went to work yesterday and they sent my ass back to the crib.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. There's no wonder you get D's and everything.
Yeah, man, I got to work and I was just like, they told me to go back home. It was like, nigga. I wanted to but you know what? I was like, you know what? Don't even matter because I can go back home and just like sleep and shit. I love sleep. I think that's like the older I get, the more I embrace taking naps and stuff. I remember thinking like a nap was a goddamn punishment. But the older you get, man, the more you appreciate the whole thing about taking naps, man. I be feeling all refreshed and shit. It'd be cool, man. It'd be real cool. So yeah, man, we got that going on. But yeah, that's enough for the rigmarole. Let's get into this show, man. Cause like I said, we got a late start tonight. So let's get into this show, man. So first things first. The Paris Olympics are now fucking over, man. It's over.
What the fuck, y'all? God damn! God damn! God damn! What? Fuck!
I know there's a whole bunch of people who are upset with the Olympics going away and all that, but I'm gonna tell you who ain't upset about the Olympics going away. Them Parisians, man, they can't wait for you niggas to get the fuck up out of there, bro. The Parisians are looking at everybody like, hey, this is how the United States left the motherfucking left the Olympics after winning the most medals and the most golds, man. This is how they left.
It was a stone groove, my man. You are the most righteous.
Yeah, right. Just get the fuck out, man. Let's go. Shit. Come on. Hurry up. And be quiet out there. My neighbors are asleep. They work too.
Yeah, man. The Parisians wanted y'all to get the fuck up out of there, especially after what Steph Curry did to France in that gold medal game, man. Our stuff was clowning in that game, man. People running up on his wife and kids and shit, man. It's crazy. It's crazy going on, man. But you know what? One of the things I am rejoicing in the fact, well, not even so much rejoicing, but I'm just like, yo, since, the Olympics are now over, for one, there's going to be a whole bunch of black people who are just going to stop pretending that they are so patriotic. They don't give a fuck about America. They rooting for everybody black that was over there. And they're not all that patriotic, man, because we got some shit we dealing with over here, right? So they're not all that patriotic, right? You got that thing. But I think the other part about it is, I think we can all now finally admit that Noah Lyles is a bit of a prick, man. Yeah, I think it's safe for us to stop pretending like we like Noah Lyles, bro. Real talk. Now, I've been seeing, over the course of the last couple of weeks, man, the conversation around Noah Lyles and whether or not people are just not liking him because he's a confident black man, and people, they compare him to people like Muhammad Ali and what's my man name, Floyd Mayweather. Real braggadocious, loquacious dudes, you know what I'm saying, who are, really confident in their abilities and everything else. I'm going to tell you why I don't like Noah Lyles. And it's essentially this. Noah Lyles became a part of the national consciousness by essentially being a fucking hater, bro. Like, straight up. Nobody knew who the fuck Noah Lyles was until he came out talking shit about the NBA, right? So, as a matter of fact, let me go ahead and pull this up. For those of you who might not necessarily remember, we're going to pull this up so you guys can watch right along with me. And this is how most of us came to know who the hell Noah Lyles was. So, let me do this here so you guys can see right along with me. Hold on just a second while I do this here. Boom. All right, and there it is. Let's see what this motherfucker came ahead to say.
The thing that hurts me the most is that I have to watch the NBA Finals, and they have world champion on their head. World champion of what? The United States? Don't get me wrong. I love the U.S. at times, but that ain't the world.
So even right there, he had to temper his. I love the U.S. at times, right? Like he had to temper that shit because he knows, man. Like that wouldn't have went over well when he came back home. It was gonna be some. Hey, so what's up with this all of you love the United States shit? You know what I'm saying? Like that patriotism goes but so far for a lot of us, man. I'm glad he wasn't so corny to not recognize that.
That is not the world. We are the world. We have almost every country out here fighting, thriving, putting on their flag to show that they are represented. There ain't no flags in the NBA.
Yeah. So yeah, that was most of our introduction to Noah Lyles, right? And it was like, yo, man, why you gotta be like that, bro? Like, what the NBA do to you? You know what I'm saying? It was mostly him being upset at the attention that NBA players get in the United States. And I'm all for being confident in your abilities. I'm all for you being, strident and trying to accomplish your goals and everything, man. More power to you on that. But you ain't gotta like try to dim somebody else's shine to make your light glow, your light brighter, man. And that was corny to me. That was fucking corny. Now, you've had people going back and forth on whether or not, the NBA is truly a global league, despite the fact that the last 4 or 5 NBA MVPs have been from across, the pond, whether that be Giannis Antetokounmpo, whether that be Joel, and did Joel Embiid win an MVP? I think he won an MVP. He's from Cameroon. Giannis is from Greece. Joker is from Serbia. So like some of the top players in the NBA are foreign-born players, and a lot of the guys playing on national teams across the Olympics were guys who were playing in the NBA. Before, that wasn't so much of a thing. It was the NBA and everybody else. As a matter of fact, the United States didn't even used to send their NBA players. It wasn't until I believe it was the 1988 games where the United States team, I think, maybe won. I believe that was bronze. I think they came home with a bronze medal, and that's when the Americans was like, "Oh, fuck this! This is our game. What the fuck?" And instead of sending the college players, we started sending our professional players. And when we send our professional players, that's when how you got the dream team. That's how you got Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, and everything else on that team, right? So the idea that the NBA isn't a global league and everything else is arguable. I mean, there's different arguments for everything, but my point is, we came to know this dude. We came to know this guy because he was talking shit about somebody else, and they was out there minding their own business, right? Just minding their own business, and now you're catching strays, all because he's upset that, here in the United States, man, we only really pay attention to track and field during the Olympics, man. We're not gonna think about this shit again for a little while, and that's unfortunate for people like Noah Lyles. But that's just the reality of it. Like, we're not gonna really be thinking about track and field much for another 2 or 3 years, maybe, until they start doing the qualifying, meets and stuff like that for the Olympics. Until then, we're not gonna be thinking about Noah Lyles no more, unless of course he gets into something else, right? Now, the other thing about Noah Lyles, right? So again, he came across as a motherfucking hater, bro. Came across as a hater. There was another thing that happened though. There was an incident where I believe he has a shoe contract with Adidas, right? Now, another player, a player in the NBA, plays for the Minnesota Timberwolves, Anthony Edwards. He was also a part of the U.S. national team, the men's national basketball team. There was an event where they were going to be unveiling a shoe for Anthony Edwards, and Adidas, they invited Noah Lyles to be a part of the event. And Noah Lyles told them no.
Oh man, hey.
We get this story here. This comes out of Sports Illustrated. It says, after a Time feature on American sprinter Noah Lyles hinted at frustration between Lyles and his apparel sponsor Adidas over an invitation to Minnesota's Timberwolves star Anthony Edwards' shoe release event, Lyles has released a statement in an attempt to calm down the media storm. Now, the social media storm. Now, The reason why he'd even have a social media store to begin with is because he said some foul shit. He said, "This is a rumor going around that I did not go to Anthony Edwards' shoe release because he didn't deserve it." Lyle said on X, "That is not the case. He definitely deserves his shoes. He is an amazing player. The problem was finding time based on my prior engagement. Congrats on becoming an Olympic champion." And so he released this on Twitter. And by and large, I think a lot of people just look at that as like, yo, he's covering his ass, man. He's got to clean that up, right? Because as it was reported in Time magazines, they said the tension between Lyles and Adidas came in the heat of a contract extension negotiation. He said, "You want to do what?" Lyles said. "You want to invite me to an event for a man who's not even been to an NBA Finals? In a sport that you don't even care about, and you're giving him a shoe? No disrespect, the man is an amazing athlete. He's having a heck of a year. I love that they saw the insight to give him a shoe because they saw that he was going to be big. All I'm asking is, how could you not see that for me?" And again, it brings it back to, hey man, yeah, they got that going on, good for them. But what about me? Why I gotta watch the NBA and people calling them world champions, and what? It's like, bro, like, why do you have to shit on everybody else in order for your light to shine? That's just whack. And like, I'm so glad like the Olympics is over, so motherfuckers can stop pretending that this dude is like not a cornball, bro. Like, cause that shit is whack, man. And that's not to even like the national team, the men's national team for basketball. They did a little trolling themselves when they said, "Are we world champions now?" after they won the gold medal against France. So I thought that was a little funny, but yeah, man, you got that going on, man. Noah Lyles, unfortunately, he's world-class athlete, world's fastest man. Bit of a dick, though. Bit of a dick. So you got that going on, man. Now, another thing about these Olympics, though, as we're talking about Noah Lyles, let's talk about some shit that's actually inspirational, right? So we started last week, man. We were talking about Imani Khalif, who's the Albanian boxer, women's boxer out of Albania, and we were talking about her and how people were perceiving her. A lot of folks were misgendering this woman, claiming that she was a transgender. She was a trans man, right? Or she transitioned into being a woman, right? But we get the. Wait a second. Are they not going to let me read this story? Okay, let's do this here. Oh shit! They are not going to let me read this story. Okay, so Imani Khalif won the gold medal, in boxing, right? And I just knew there was going to be so many people butthurt, and for that, I'm like,
supposed to feel sorry for that bitch. I don't
feel sorry for them. Because so many people jumped out the window on that story last week, man, not knowing what they were talking about, not knowing that this woman was born a woman, wasn't trans at all, and they used that to to amplify bigoted language and bigoted behavior towards trans people in one of the more globally watched events. Right? Because that's the thing, man. I think at a certain point, like, this has kind of been bubbling up for the last few years, man, where, especially here in America, where we have so many different Republican legislatures across the country that are trying to create laws to prevent trans girls and women from being able to compete in, athletic events against cisgendered women. And they act as though this is a widespread issue. They're solving for a problem that doesn't exist. And more often than not, the law is usually aimed at maybe one or two trans athletes in the entire state. It's like, bringing out a motherfucking AR-15 to kill a fly. You're doing way too much. And so with this story, when this story came out, again, it brought the bigots out. It brought people out that, again, don't really know what they're talking about, not necessarily curious to figure out what the nuances of that story is. But again, like, so many people are so willing to just kind of jump out of that window and, have such strong feelings about a topic that they haven't really necessarily educated themselves on. And one of the, my biggest peeves is always, hey man, if you're gonna talk about this shit, at least know what the fuck you talking about. That should be the bare minimum of what we do. If we're gonna get on these social media airwaves, and if we're gonna get on these podcasts, and we're gonna get on these in front of these television cameras and talk about these things, I think it's prudent for us to at least be knowledgeable about what the subject matter is to some degree. Now, if you don't know what you're talking about, it's easy and it's free to simply shut the fuck up. Right? Doesn't cost you a dime to shut the fuck up. However, so many people want to jump out on that window and just, oh man, hate. And I'm glad that she actually won the gold. And again, and I said, I've been saying Albania, it's Algeria. But I'm glad she won the gold because, for one, I knew that like the biggest heads were going to explode. But then two, man, imagine being who you are legitimately. People questioning who you are legitimately and questioning, whether or not you should be able to compete simply because of who you are. And, trying to invalidate you as a human being. And so I think by her winning this gold medal, man, it's just like a big fuck you to all of those bigots who came out and had something to say. And those of you who were trying to raise money, those people who were trying to raise money on her, off of her name because of the narrative that they were trying to put out, man, I think that was ridiculous. I think that was egregious. And I'm glad she won that gold medal, man. Real talk. Well-deserved gold medal. But we got that going on, man. So, yeah. Oh, shit, I had that, and I didn't even pull it up. But, yes, Algerian boxer Imani Khalif, she wins the gold. So we got that going on. Now, another story that we got going on, I think this is a little bit weird. I saw this on my social media feeds this week, and I was like, man, what the hell is this? Come on now. Like this, are we really this silly? Are we really this silly? But then I had to think about it, man. Like as I peruse the social media highway, and yeah, there's quite a few of us who really are this silly. And it's a silly question for me to ask. Are we really this silly? When, especially after what we talked about last week. We got a comment here in the chat here. Let's see. Where'd he go? Okay, so Adam writes in, he says, she is suing Musk and JK Rowling. I hope she gets paid big. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because Elon Musk, again, he's one of those folks who's been, well, we know he's been not only just, what they call it, red pill. We know that he's been red pill, but also not even just so much being red pill, but we know that like he bought Twitter and he suggested that Twitter was, going to be a place for free speech, and we find out that it's not so much about free speech. And this is the thing about a lot of the people on the right. They believe that if you don't want to hear their shit, then that means that you don't believe in free speech. And it's like, no, man, we know that free speech just means you are free from persecution from the government. I don't have to listen to you. I don't have to watch you. I don't have to entertain your motherfucking thoughts and your damn, your opinion. I don't have to entertain any of that shit. And I'm free to block you. I'm free to not sponsor you. Like, that is not an attack on free speech. I don't have to tolerate what you got coming my way. If I'm uncomfortable with it, I don't have to subject myself to that. And far too often what a lot of folks on the right believe is that like they get to say some fucked up shit to you and you just supposed to take it. It's like, no, nigga, I ain't got to take a motherfucking thing. The only thing that free speech protects you from is from the government coming to take your ass out. That's it. That's all. Right. But yeah, anyway, I'm glad you brought that up though. Thanks, Adam. But yeah, so TK Kirkland, man. For those of you who may not necessarily be familiar, TK Kirkland is a longtime comedian, man. This guy's been around a long fucking time. I can't remember comedy without TK Kirkland at some point in time, man. Like I think the first time I ever saw TK Kirkland in doing any stand up was when I think he had an appearance on Def Comedy Jam back in the day, and then he also used to be quite a regular on Comic View on BET some years ago, back when BET had Comic View. I heard they bringing that back, but I'm not sure. I don't really watch BET much anymore. But yeah, man. But for whatever reason, TK Kirkland is of the belief that Spelman College in Atlanta is not an HBCU.
Shut up. Shut the fuck up.
Damn.
Enough. Boy, I've been sick to my fucking stomach watching you imbeciles type things. Stop typing. You niggas are stupid.
Well, let's see, because he didn't type this, right? He didn't type this. So let's see what the hell TK Kirkland is talking about, because he was on the Breakfast Club when he was talking about this. So let's see what he's saying.
He got most people thinking that most of the schools in Atlanta are HBCU schools.
Mm-hmm. Rockefeller?
Yeah, watch the game. A lot of people think that Spelman is a HBCU school.
It's not?
Nah. You ready?
Spelman's not an HBCU?
Watch what I'm about to tell you. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he's setting this up like he about to drop some knowledge on us. Like, man, peep game. Like, watch me how I set this up. That's not a HBCU school. Watch this. He got it. He's setting this up like he about to drop some shit.
Spelman is Rockefeller's wife. They dropped the Rockefeller. It's Spelman.
I don't know if any of this is true, but I'm listening.
You better Google it right now. I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, let me Google this right now.
Yeah, Google it right while we on the air.
I'm listening.
Yeah, while we on the air. Spelman is Rockefeller's wife.
Let me see. Oh, Laura Spelman Rockefeller. Laura Spelman Rockefeller was an American abolitionist, philanthropist, school teacher, and prominent member of the Rockefeller family. Her husband was Standard Oil co-founder John D. Rockefeller. Spelman College in Atlanta, Georgia, and the Lawrence Spelman Rockefeller Memorial were named for her. Okay. You learn something new every day.
Isn't that something, yo?
That's crazy. So Spelman, the HBCU, is named after a white woman. That's wild. I never knew that.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Ain't that insane?
Actually, no, it's not. It's not insane at all. All right. And here's why it's not insane. And here's why I think it's here's why I think it's important for people when we do get on these microphones and we do get out and on these platforms that we actually know what the fuck we're talking about. Now, TK Kirkland had a factoid, right? He went up there with a factoid and he's like, I'm about to blow it. I'm gonna kill him with this one, right? Factoid. I think he missed the point of what HBCU actually means. And HBCU simply means historically black college and universities, right? Or universities, right? Historically black colleges and universities. Now, many of the schools that are today's HBCUs were founded by white folks. That has never been a secret. To anybody who's ever attended an HBCU, they could tell you that, especially if they attended schools like Spelman, if they attended a school like Hampton, if they attended a school like Wilberforce, like if they attended these schools, chances are they've also been learned on the history of the school's founding, where like the circumstances around how their school came to be formed and everything else, right? You learn that as part of your orientation, damn near, as you learn in the alma mater, the fight song and everything else, right? So, like, the idea that because Spelman was named after the wife of a Rockefeller, that means Spelman isn't an HBCU is ridiculous. And is ridiculous. And the reason why it's ridiculous is because HBCUs have historically served black students. And the reason why these schools were formed was because white folks didn't want to go to school with black folks. So some white abolitionists, good-meaning, well-meaning white folk, because again, like as much as folks, like as much as this nation has been shitty towards black people, there have been some white allies who've like, hey man, like this is fucked up, and they've given a hand in trying to help uplift black people. And some of these schools were named after some white folks, but they have historically served black people, which makes them an HBCU. Not because they're named after a white person. That doesn't negate whether or not that's an HBCU or not. No. That's not how that works, man. That, as a matter of fact, they had a commercial that said that.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
That's not how that works, bro. Those schools have historically served African American and black folks, black students in this country since their founding. More black doctors come out of HBCUs than any other PWI in the nation. Hold on a second. Somebody's calling my phone. Hold on. Just a second, people. Yes. I'm podcasting right now. It sounds like your mouth. I'll call you back. All right. Yeah. But that's funny. Her mouth was full. But that was that's the ridiculous notion in and of itself, that it's because these schools were named, or some of these schools were named after white people, that somehow that doesn't make them an HBCU, especially when we know that these schools have historically served black people in places where they were not trying to serve black people at all. So yeah, there were some white folks who lended a hand, right? I'm just more upset. I'm more upset at the idea that you would go on national radio and say this as if you really thought you was dropping a motherfucking bomb on people. Yeah, there are going to be some people who don't know that some of the founders of HBCUs were white people, but that doesn't mean that that's not an HBCU, considering who that school has largely been serving for the better part of their operating history, man. So yeah, I just thought that was kind of interesting that TK Kirkland went on the radio with that bullshit. So yeah, man, we got that going on. Let me take this down, and yeah, let's do this here. I got a lot going on over here. But yeah, so we got that going on. Now, another story that we got that happened over the course of this week. Okay, so here's the thing. How many of you have gone on like a destination wedding? You know what I'm saying? Like, you go to a destination wedding, it costs you a little bit of money to get there. You know, the couple wants you to they want you to like fly out to some tropical location and, watch them walk down the aisle on the sandy beach in probably Jamaica or the Bahamas or some shit. And you like, man, will y'all just get on? Will y'all get on with this shit? It cost me $6,000 with me, my wife, and my babies to get over here, and only for y'all to go up there for 30 motherfucking seconds and say y'all I do's, and then y'all right back down to it, and I'm just supposed to be cool with that? I know some ornery motherfuckers who would be like that. They would be upset at that. Me, I would just like, anytime I would get invited to a wedding, I'm just happy that I get an opportunity to dress up, man. I like looking good, man. I like trying to, like, putting on my shit, man. Put my watches on and my earrings and shit, put on like a real nice fitted suit. You know what I'm saying? A well-fitted suit. Make a nigga look good, man. I like that. I like feeling like that. I'll wear that motherfucking suit all day, man. Hey, nigga, take my picture. You know what I'm saying? I feel good, man. I feel real good. Man, there was a couple who decided that as opposed to trying to come up with the monies for the wedding of their dreams, they were going to charge their guest $333 each to be a part or be a guest at their wedding.
Who are these niggas? We need to stay away from these niggas.
Yeah, man. So is there video attached to this? There is video attached to this. So yeah, let me pause that. I'm gonna pull this up so you guys can watch right along with your boy. Hold on just a second while I do this here. All right. So here we go. Let's see what they're talking about here.
For many couples, their big day requires a big budget.
This is a very reasonable price for a cake of this magnitude.
A cake, Frank, is made of flour and water.
$150,000 out the gate. That's the numbers they were starting at.
On average, weddings now costing couples tens of thousands of dollars.
The biggest price tag is typically the venue, and that accounts for about 37% of the total cost.
Me and my wife got married in an art gallery in the French Quarter in New Orleans. That didn't cost us no $37,000. I'm just saying that. Right?
To cut down on spending, newlyweds Nova and Remo Styles got creative, thinking of their nuptials more like a concert, charging guests to attend their celebration.
And I said, wait, people choose to go to Beyonce's concerts because...
Did she really just compare herself to Beyonce? Did she really just...
Shut up! Shut the fuck up!
Damn.
Enough! Boy, I've been sick to my fucking stomach watching you imbeciles type things. Yeah. Stop typing. You niggas are stupid.
Yeah, Beyonce. That's what she. Okay.
Because they know that they're gonna have an experience. Let's put the stress on the guests and let's sell tickets to our wedding.
I was like, babe, people aren't going to come.
People did come, but there was also some pushback.
I would never spend money on tickets. I don't care.
Who do you guys
Who
think
do you
you
think
are?
you are?
Beyonce
Beyonce
and Jay-Z.
The ticket priced at $333 a piece.
Hold on. First things first, I'm a little upset that so how much did y'all charge the wedding party? Because like, as I'm looking at this is not the most these motherfuckers look like they dressed up like watermelons with the pink and the green on. Like, I don't know. This ain't. I'm judging, man. I'm judging it. I'm judging it. The $333 got your boy got me tight. Got me tight, man.
Earning guests a seat on their double-decker bus and a 12-hour adventure in New York City. Their strategy sparing them $70,000 in wedding expenses.
So let me get this straight. You want to have your wedding in New York. You want to go out on a tour of the city of New York. That's all fine and good. The idea that you're gonna charge other people $330 some odd dollars for them to go on some shit just because you want to do it. I'm gonna tell y'all this right now, man. I kind of get this. This gives a bunch of like it's the Instagram shit, right? It's the everybody wanting their 15 minutes of fame. It's the main character syndrome. It's all of that, man. It's like everybody wanting to kind of stunt but a gram. Like, you didn't have to want to spend $70,000 on a wedding. You wanted to, but if you couldn't afford to do so, then damn it, you need to be making some other moves. Right now, I'm not sure if they actually were able to make the goal. Probably did. Some folks are probably like, all right, I'm cool with it. I don't mind. I'll spend the $333 to come to y'all wedding. Whatever. That's not even counting. How much did it cost them to get like plane tickets if they're not from New York? How much did it cost them to get hotel rooms if they're not from New York? Like, so it not only are they spending $333 just to come to your ceremonies and shit, but then they got to spend money to get there. They got to spend money to have somewhere to stay while they're there. On top of you asking them for $333 fucking dollars. That's the easiest way to disinvite your boy. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I don't have any friends that I think would charge a nigga to come, right? It's like, yo, man, you want me to be a part of your day? Cool, man. I would love to be a part of the day if you want me to be a part of that memory and everything else. I'm honored that you want me to be a part of that memory. But if the minute you come out of your mouth and say, yeah, Spann, that'll be $333. Spann, all right, nigga, y'all have a good one. I ain't there, man. That's the easiest way to disinvite your boy, man. Because I'm like, it's not that I ain't got it, and it's not that I wouldn't want. Like, if I really, I have to really fuck with you to want to spend $333 as a ticket to your wedding because you don't want to spend the monies for the shit that you want to do. You want to put that on me, and I'm like, I ain't got to be there, man. Good luck to y'all, man. Maybe I'll get a gift. I'll get y'all a gift, man. I'll probably get y'all like a little toaster or something, a little toaster oven or some shit like that. But nah, man, I ain't $333 for a wedding ticket. Fuck out of here, nigga. You crazy as hell. Got me. I'm just doing this.
Man. Hey.
And I recognize that that's what I'm doing, but there's more to this. So let me let this play out.
Other couples flipping the traditional script to save some cash.
We're seeing a rise in brunch weddings.
I would say we probably saved like $40,000.
Some, like Courtney and Alex Quist, opting for an earlier celebration versus traditional evening affairs, trading in the filet and fish for pizza and mimosas.
We had a beautiful wedding, an awesome reception, and the people that we loved and care about the most were able to be there. So,
and that's what it's all about. Right, that's what it should be about. But yeah, man, that was crazy. $333. They out here wilding, man. They are out here absolutely wilding. They need their ass whooped for that shit. For real. Oh man, well, let's see. Adam writes in to say, my wife and I got married in the basement of the Cook County Court. Hey man, y'all got hitched though. That's the thing. Y'all that don't mean y'all are less husband and wife. And that's the part that I think gets lost in the sauce, man. I'm not here to shit on it. I'm apparently I am shitting on it. I am yucking their yum. But like there's this thing, man, where we doing all this shit to impress other folk. A lot of the things we do, man, is like just to impress other people. Some of these people don't even like us. Some of these people don't even fuck with us. But we want to make sure that they see us, you know, in what we believe to be our best light. And I think to some degree, I think social media plays a large part in this, where we're worried about how people are feeling about us. People that don't even fucking know us. I mean, even now, like if this couple was to, like, you know, see this particular episode of the podcast, they're like, man, fuck this nigga, and they would have every right in the world to feel that way about me, right? And you know, but they've set this out on the news. Hey, we gonna charge everybody at our wedding $333. Now it becomes a part of the social discourse, and I can say something about it. If I didn't know anything about it, probably wouldn't have anything to say about it. But now everybody knows. So you know how it goes. But I think this the social media aspect of it, man, just has us operating in ways where we wouldn't probably normally, because it wouldn't be so much about how we were perceived by people that don't know us, right? And I think social media plays a large part in that. So I could be wrong. You know, you write in to let your boy know how wrong he is, or could be. But yeah, man, I something about that just left just a real that's nasty, real bad taste in my mouth, man. Real talk. Got that going on, man. Now, another story that we got going on, man. Oh yeah. So I know a lot of people have, like, kind of, you know, stopped talking about Joe Biden since he has dropped out of the presidential race. However, Joe Biden has actually gotten some relief, some federal relief for black farmers after years of discrimination, man. Now we get the story. This comes out of Forbes. You know, Forbes isn't exactly a left-wing, you know, a left-leaning rag, but we get the story. It says, in a largely unexpected announcement during the last week of July, the Biden administration started its distribution of $2 billion to thousands of farmers who have faced decades of government-backed discrimination. For nearly a century, the U.S. Department of Agriculture limited these farmers access to federal subsidies, debt forgiveness, and other programs that served as a lifeline for a majority white farmer base. The long-awaited payout, created through the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022. So that's, again, one of those things that people said that they weren't doing anything. Through the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022 that allowed these funds to become available for these black farmers, comes after nearly 2 years of delays, court challenges, and pushback from mostly GOP lawmakers. Now,
I'll be a monkey's bare-assed uncle.
Who could have seen that coming? Who could have seen that coming? As black and minority-owned farms waited and hoped, some of them experienced land loss and confiscation. In applauding President Joe Biden's long overdue announcement, lawyer and racial equality advocate Todd Belcour described the moment as bittersweet. With less than 100 days left until the November election, Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, now the presumptive Democratic nominee, had to make good on their 2020 election promise to repair some of the harm done by the federal government to black and minority farmers who attempted to apply for farm loans or repay their federally backed loans. For far too long, many farmers and ranchers have experienced discrimination in farm loan programs and have not had the same access to federal resources and support. Mr. Biden said in a statement, "I promised to address this inequality when I became president. Today, that promise has become a reality." As part of Biden's announcement, the USDA will start making immediate payments to 43,000 recipients across all 50 states, with Alabama and Mississippi recipients receiving the most. The average payment is $82,000, with John Boyd Jr., president of the National Black Farmers Association, celebrated cautiously. Boyd, who has worked for decades to correct discriminatory wrongs that have beset black and minority farmers, quickly pointed out the devastation of black farmers losing a family farm. It's not like working at McDonald's where you can get another job at Hardee's. When you lose your farm, you lose your history, Boyd said. The loss is not just financial, but also cultural and personal. It means losing your family, cemetery, your identification, all the things in the community that you live in. Those losses are irreplaceable. And one of the things that I think is important about this, man, is, like I said, man, there had been aid packages aimed at black farmers since Biden became president. And there had been GOP lawmakers and white farmers suing because they said it was reverse racism because this aid was being aimed at black farmers, despite the fact that black farmers had been getting negated from getting the same type of help that these white farmers have been getting for decades. And this was to rectify those wrongs. So when you hear all these people, especially when the GOP is talking about whether or not, they want to get rid of diversity, equity, and inclusion. They want to get rid of affirmative action. And here's something that they don't want you to be able to rectify the wrongs of the system that has been in place for years. They don't want you to do that. They want it to be what it is because they have benefited so long from what it is. And I don't know what it is about racism that makes you so irrational, but like something in me would be like, man, I got to be a whole ass motherfucker. I got to be a bitch if I'm trying to keep this other motherfucker down just because I can't do what I need to do, despite all of the motherfucking resources I've had at my fingertips. I've had all of the advantages and still I can't make way. Therefore, I'm going to prevent somebody else from actually getting the resources that they could use, the same resources that I've been exercising, and not just and simply not performing as fuck. I'm getting pissed. And not performing at a level that should be deemed exceptional. I'm not performing. So a lot of these farmers, a lot of these GOP lawmakers have been just standing in front of and obstructing this help and these aid packages from reaching these black farmers. Like $82,000. I'm not sure how. Like, it's a start, but when you think about the operating cost of a farm, when you think about equipment, when you think about materials, when you think about utilities, and they gotta irrigate their farmland, they still gotta feed these animals, they still have to make sure that their equipment is up to par and safe to operate, things like that. That shit costs a hell of a lot of money. One damn machine on a farm could possibly cost them $82,000. So yeah, man, I'm glad that this legislation and this help is coming forward in a way to help them. But I would hope that at some point, if we give a future President Harris a Congress that can actually address this issue, maybe more funding can come their way. That is the goal. But we've got to give them, not only just vote for Kamala Harris, but we also have to give her a Congress that'll be conducive to her being able to sign legislation that can help them going forward. So yeah, man, you got that going on. The Biden administration sends $2 billion to help black farmers. I thought that was important for us to highlight here. So you got that going on. So while we're talking presidential politics, though, did y'all know your boy Donald Trump was out here? This motherfucker was out here lying, dog. I mean, like lying at Hall of Fame levels, bruh. Like, it was absolutely insane how many lies was coming out this motherfucker's mouth this week. So much so that I really think it's a new record. I think it's a new record, man. I think this motherfucker went for the gold. I think this motherfucker is in the Hall of Fame. They gonna give this man a yellow jacket for lying, bruh. He's definitely gonna get the yellow jacket for lying. So we get this story here. Apparently, Donald Trump had a press conference at his home in Mar-a-Lago, and let's just say he was lying his ass off. So much so that they said they fact-checked this motherfucker, and he was recorded to have lied 162 times in 1 hour, bruh. Yeah, man, let me see if I can pull this story up. I'm sure I did not. Damn it, did I erase that? Okay, yeah, no, I didn't. Here it is. We get the story here. This comes out of NPR. It says 162 lies and distortions in a news conference. NPR fact checks former President Trump. There are a lot of false things. There were a host of false things that Donald Trump said during his hour-long news conference Thursday that have gotten attention. A glaring example is his helicopter emergency landing story, which was not stood up to scrutiny. which is also funny. So check this out. The helicopter landing story. He told folks that he was in a helicopter with former San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown. Now, the reason why Willie Brown is important to this story is because Willie Brown used to be dating Kamala Harris years ago, right? And a lot of people on the right suggested, Kamala Harris was a homewrecker and that she was dating a married man. And they don't put the onus on the motherfucker who was actually in that goddamn marriage. But, whatever. But Donald Trump said that they were in a helicopter. He was in a helicopter with Willie Brown. And the helicopter was, it seemed as though the helicopter may be going down. He thought this was going to be it. He thought this was going to be it. But somehow, some way, in this helicopter with San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown, he made sure to tell Donald Trump that Kamala Harris lady is a terrible person, that she's a terrible human being.
Who are these niggas? We need to stay away from these niggas.
All right. It says, come to find out it wasn't Willie Brown in the helicopter. There was another black man. I think he was he was a taller black man as well. He was from Los Angeles, and he's come forward to say, I guess Donald Trump thinks we all look alike. Because again, Donald Trump don't like you niggas. But, yeah, man, we can get back to the story, but there's so much more. A team of NPR reporters and editors reviewed the transcript of his news conference and found at least 162 misstatements, exaggerations, and outright lies in 64 minutes. That's more than 2 a minute. It's a stunning number for anyone, even more problematic for a person running to lead the free world. Politicians spin, they fib, they misspeak. They make honest mistakes like the rest of us. And yes, they even sometimes exaggerate their biographies. The expectation, though, is that they would treat the truth as something important and correct any errors. Donald Trump don't give a fuck about telling the truth. He been lying ever since we known him. Donald Trump came to the national prominence for lying, bro. I'm sorry, not national prominence for lying. He did come to national prominence, he and his father, for not for refusing to rent to black people. And then he's also famous for bankrupting fucking casinos. Now, the casino is where they actually bring you the money. How the fuck do you bankrupt a company where what a business model is, hey man, they just come over here, play these games and just give us money. And every now and again, we just got to let a little bit of it go so we make it look like it's legit. But hey man, they come in here and they just give us fucking money. They just give it to us. And he bankrupted 6 times. 6 fucking times. So he gives this news conference at his home. He lies 162 times. The media at the time, they've been failing us, bro. Like they've been failing us. It just
makes me sick, motherfucker. How far we done fell.
Because there was no real follow up on any of the questions that they've asked him. They didn't pin him down to answer a question. And that's the thing about a lot of these, that's the one thing I did admire about what Rachel Scott did at the end of ABJ was essentially like, no, I asked this question, answer the question while you're trying to flip it and everything else, answer the question that I ask you. And I'm asking you a very direct and real question. And, for whatever reason, man, like this dude, his followers just go with the flow with whatever bullshit is coming out of his mouth. And so he's able to get away with shit like this because his followers have, no matter what he does, have just kind of given him a pass on shit. But it's gotten even worse, bruh. It's gotten even worse. So not only did he tell 162 lies during a press conference, but he also took it upon himself to come up with a new lie about Kamala Harris and her crowd sizes. So Donald Trump prides himself on having really large crowds and shit at his rallies and whatnot. And oftentimes he's exaggerating the size of his crowds. We all remember when he was inaugurated, where he said that was he had his press secretary go out there and say that was the largest inauguration crowd in history. And then of course, photo evidence showed something entirely different. And I think he's not used to, and I think a lot of us aren't necessarily used to, because it's been a while, for there to be such excitement for a Democratic candidate for president. The last time I think we've seen this level of excitement was around 2008 when Barack Obama was running for president. And there was a lot of people. I remember being here in Detroit around that time. You had gas stations that were changing the name of the gas stations to Obama, and they had all Obama paraphernalia in there, along with charging you for gas. You can get you some Air Force Ones with Obama. You can get you some you can get you some fake cash with Obama's face on it. You can get T-shirts and lighters and shit, all with Obama's name on it. I remember there was an Obama pharmacy here at one point in time. We had an Obama tire shop here at one point in time. We had an Obama ice cream truck here at one point in time. It was like we was crazy over the Obama in 2008, bro. Like Obama mania was insane back in 2008. I remember it, right? As a matter of fact, when Obama won, a lot of motherfuckers went up to that Obama gas station to go celebrate the win, right? So it was a big thing. Now I don't know if Kamala Harris has gotten to that level of fucking to that level of excitement, but yeah, man, I think the last time we've seen some level of that was around 2008, right? But Donald Trump has gone on his social media platform to suggest that she had AI'd her pictures to her. She AI'd these people. The crowd was fake. He said the crowd was fake. They AI'd the pictures to make it seem as though her crowds were bigger than they really were, man. And
I'll be a monkey's bare-assed uncle.
yeah, man. So we get this story. This comes out of Yahoo. It says former President Donald Trump has taken his obsession with crowd sizes, with the large crowds of Vice President Kamala Harris is drawing at her rallies to new heights, falsely declaring in a series of social media posts Sunday that she had used artificial intelligence to create images and videos of fake crowds. The crowds at Harris's events, including one in Detroit outside an airplane hangar, were witnessed by thousands of people and news outlets, including the New York Times, and the number of attendees claimed by her campaign is in line with what was visible on the ground. Trump falsely wrote in his social media site, True Social, the irony of the name of that site, man, that there was nobody at the plane and she AI'd it. A spokesperson for the Trump campaign did not respond to a request for comment. Trump has struggled to find his political footing in the weeks since President Joe Biden decided to step aside and Harris replaced him atop the Democratic ticket. Trump questioned Harris's racial identity at a conference. At a conference for black journalists. He later attacked Brian Kemp, a popular Republican governor in the key swing state of Georgia, and he has seen new polling that puts him behind Harris in several key states. Now, here's the thing that I think is very interesting about Donald Trump accusing Kamala Harris of being of AI in anything, right? And the reason why I think it's interesting is because of this. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can pull this up, because I put this on Threads earlier this week, and I think it's important that we bring this up again. See if I can do this here. Okay. So here we go. I'm going to pull this up so you guys can watch right along with, you guys can see this here right along with me. Let me share my, all right. Okay, so I said this on Threads earlier this week, and what I said was the interesting thing about Trump versus Harris crowds and him accusing her of using AI to allegedly exaggerate her crowd sizes is all of the blatant examples of how many times people around his camp or supporters have been caught using AI to create images of him being supported by black people. So off top, we see shit like this, that his campaign or people around his campaign or people who are supporting him creating images like this so that they can give the false impression that black people are clamoring to support Donald Trump. Hey, man, you see this webbing around his hand right here? And what is she looking at? See, like, she's not looking at the camera. What is she looking at? She's not looking at the camera. What is this guy looking at? He's not looking. Neither is he. And what the fuck does that say on his hat? And this guy he only has like 3 fingers and shit. He got like that one little bitty finger right there, but he only has like 3 fingers and shit. And then this finger, he's like 1, 2, 3. Well, at least they got his hand sizes right on this one, right? But they like this, and that's just one example. Here's another fake example of Donald Trump supporters creating images of black people through AI to make it seem as though they're supporting Donald Trump. Here's another one. These people do not exist, man. All of this shit is fake. And you can always tell, man, it's like there's a sheen on the faces, bro. Like that's the way you can kind of tell. There's a sheen on the faces. Sometimes the eyes aren't quite right. You could definitely, the hands are a definite giveaway. But these pictures are not, these people are not real. Everything, all of this is computer generated. Same thing with this one. Right? Same thing with this one. Same thing with this one. Y'all want me to believe Donald Trump was in the hood and in the alley with some niggas? Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Secret Service wouldn't allow that shit. Come on, man. Be for real. Come on. This shit isn't real, bro. So the irony in Donald Trump accusing anyone of using AI, of anything, it's like everything that he accuses everybody else of, he's already guilty of doing. That's what's always like funny about Donald Trump. He accuses everybody of everything he's already been doing. It's like a cheating spouse, right? It's like a cheating like a cheating spouse or like a cheating girlfriend, boyfriend, or whatever. And one of the ways they want to get you off their ass when they out here doing some shit they ain't got no business doing, they accuse you of the shit that they out there doing, so like you on the defensive about the shit. They try to preempt you. So you on the defensive, you try to defend yourself. Meanwhile, they out there doing whatever the fuck it is they want to do. Right? That's what Donald Trump, he's trying to apply that principle here. But he forgets, man.
Nigga, did you know that I can see you? Nigga, you right there. It's on your nose.
We can see you, bruh. We can see you. Like, all of this shit happens right out in front of there. And that's the other part about it. I think Donald Trump believes that if he gets out here and he just says the shit publicly, then he won't be held accountable for the shit because he's like, well, I told y'all I was going to do it. Right? So, like, him telling us he was going to do it makes it better because he told us he was going to do it. Like, no, motherfucker, that's stupid. That's fucking stupid. Oh, this was a bad one too. It's like they took the same face on all these women on this picture, man. And then on top of that, can I zoom? Oh, nah, let me see if I can zoom that one in. Can I zoom that one? Will it allow me to? Because this one here, I think he had a mullet. No, I won't let me do it. He won't let me magnify in. But yeah, he's got a mullet on this one. And then you got this strange white hand right here. And then you got the fingers that are all fucked up here. And then they all have the same face. Come on, man. Donald Trump goes out here and does this exact. He's saying that Kamala Harris is out here faking the pictures when everybody knows that this is exactly what the fuck the Trump campaign is really out here doing, man. It's actually hilariously funny that he would even bother to say some stupid shit like that. But again, this is like, to the people who are paying attention, bro, we see you. Again.
Nigga, did you know that I can see you? Nigga, you right there. It's on your nose.
I can see you, bro. So yeah, man, you got that going on. That's crazy. Donald Trump out here acting a goddamn fool. Not that we surprised at all, but still. Nonetheless, I'll just be glad when like we can be done and like really done all the way through with Donald Trump. Real talk. We got another comment here in the chat room. Adam says Rachel Scott destroyed Trump. Maybe the only one in the media recently to check Trump hard. Well, that's because she just asked him a straight up question and she wouldn't come up off of it. She's one of the, I think the part of that, what happened with Rachel Scott was that she was given an opportunity to ask a question and she was also able to kind of like, because of the format, hold him to the question, like to answer my question. And you can see he was trying hard to weasel out of answering that question. You know, whether that be not answering the question at all, whether that be just outright insulting her, whether that be to insult her employer, like doing all of this shit to keep from answering the question when she just asked him a straight up direct question. Now, I know there were some people who who didn't appreciate him being at NABJ, and I understand that. But I also thought that, like, you know, those are times where if you get an opportunity to hold a motherfucker accountable, you do that. And I think she tried her hardest to do that, but I don't think the format of the event kind of lended her any help in that way. Because again, not only did, you know, he lie and try to obfuscate and everything else, but then he also had, you know, a hand-picked media member on the panel as well. And she wasn't even a member of NABJ. And I'm talking about Harris Faulkner. So, yeah, man, like, at a certain point, man, like you would hope that the rhetoric in these not just so much the rhetoric, but these antics that he continues to do that you know, at some point it latches onto the American people, the vast majority of us anyway, and activates enough of us to get our asses up and go vote, because those people who want him in, they are definitely going to get their asses up to go vote. And then they also have legislative allies who are going to do their damnedest to try to take away that right of yours to vote. right? So I think it pays us to be vigilant. It pays dividends to be vigilant and making sure that we're not only aware of these sorts of things, but also that we highlight this for other people to be aware of them as well, man. But thank you for the comment. Let's see what else we got here. What's on the docket, Spann? Okay, so we got this here. This happened here in Detroit, and I don't know. Let's see. So Kamala Harris, during her rally here in Detroit, there were some hecklers. There were some people. There were some protesters. People who were protesting on behalf of the Palestinians who are suffering in Gaza during their war with Israel, and she had to address these protesters during her rally. And so I'm gonna pull this up so you guys can watch right along with me, and let's see exactly what happened. We get this here from CNN, and here we go. Let me go ahead and play this video.
He intends to cut Social Security and Medicare. He intends to surrender our fight against the climate crisis, and he intends to end the Affordable Care Act. You know what? If you want Donald Trump to win, then say that, otherwise I'm speaking.
See, like my mama used to give me that look, when I was fucking up. Right? That's the look your mama give you when you out here fucking up, and she like, hey, you got one more time or that's gonna be your ass. That's the look. I remember a look like that. I almost kind of missed that look, man. I miss my mama. Right? But yeah, man, she definitely gave them the look. Okay, so that's what So that's what happened here in Detroit, right? So she did that, and I saw some people trying to tone police her, right? I saw some people try to say, well, that's not the tact you want to take. The Arab American voting bloc here in Michigan is a large one. It's an important one if you're going to win the state. That might not have necessarily been the tact you want to take with a group of folk whose vote you're going to need come November, right? And I can understand that. This is the same people who voted uncommitted during the primary earlier this year to try to get Joe Biden's attention, right? And they got over 100,000 votes here in the state. I think there's something to be said for the protest. What that clip did not show was that wasn't the first interaction that she had even had with them during that particular rally. She had already addressed them prior to, and just kind of gave them a little bit of grace, as though like, hey, listen, we understand, we're working towards a ceasefire over there, and that's what we're doing, but at the moment, that's not why we're here. That's not what we're talking about. And so when we get to this video, it's, if you want Donald Trump to win, just say that, otherwise I'm speaking. And I think at some point when it comes to, some protests, I know a lot of the protests is to make people uncomfortable, is to make people annoyed, to bring, light to your plight. I get it. Like even when, people were talking about that when it came to BLM, when folks would be out in the streets and they would, block up highways and freeways and stuff. And when people would be marching in the streets and, in downtowns and stuff, and traffic would be ground to a halt, people would be upset about that sort of stuff. And it agitates a lot of people and it makes you uncomfortable. But that's the point, is to make you uncomfortable. I think at a certain point though, you would like to see those. What we do see is you'll typically see these sorts of protests happening on the left, and to a lot of Democratic politicians, is because those are the people that you believe are going to be the ones that you could actually persuade, and that's part of the reason why I think they do it there and they don't do that at Republican events, because they do believe that they can actually persuade Democrats. At least they can actually have a bit of a back and forth. Unfortunately, it can backfire in a way were like, yeah, you advocated for this, and now you're saying you're not voting for this. Unfortunately, the collateral damage could be, you get another Trump administration, and now everything you thought you were going to get, or you thought could be possible as a benefit to you and your cause, is now no longer there, because the Trump administration or a possible Trump administration wouldn't even acknowledge what your plights are. As a matter of fact, they wouldn't give a fuck what your plights are to begin with. As a matter of fact, they would probably look at your shit like, uh-oh.
Supposed to feel sorry for that bitch. I don't.
That's how they'll look at your shit. And so I think oftentimes, man, there's a bit of frustration with a lot of folks on the left when it comes to this particular issue, because it's like, yo, man, who are you really fighting? Who are you really fighting? And that's why I think, she got I think that's why she got the applause that she did right after that. But also I can understand her frustration. And they're like, not only did I already address y'all before, and I'm trying to, go through my speech, but also I spoke with some people about your plight before we even did this rally. And here y'all are in my face again. And it just becomes a thing. It was like, hey, man, I think y'all are going about this the wrong way. Right? Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that's, that I'm right or that she's right or whatever else. But I just think how it's perceived. A lot of folks will look at that and just say, hey, I think y'all going about that the wrong way. So, yeah, man, you got that going on. Now, another story that we got here, man. And I think I'm going to end out on, I think I'm going to close out on this because it's getting a little late and I got to get ready to go to work tomorrow. But there were riots last week in the UK. And I think it's important that we talk about this, considering what we were talking about last week when it came to that fake, receipt that people thought was given to a Venezuelan woman that had over $13,000 in food stamps on it and $4,000 of cash assistance. I think it's important that we talk about what's been going on over in the UK. And I'm going to pull this story up. This comes out of NPR. And it says that over the past few weeks, the UK has been battered by widespread riots led by hundreds of far-right protesters. The violent riots began on Tuesday night following a deadly stabbing spree that killed 3 young girls and wounded several others at a children's dance and yoga class in northwest England. The attack has triggered Islamophobic and anti-immigration sentiments in the UK, leading to hundreds of arrests, dozens of officers injured, and multiple buildings damaged, including a mosque and a hotel known to have housed asylum seekers. The riots entered its 6th day on Sunday and showed no signs of waning. What triggered the riots? The riots come after a stabbing rampage on July 29th at a Taylor Swift themed dance and yoga class in Southport, England. 3 girls, BB King, 6, Elsie Stancombe, 7, and Elise Da Silva Aguiar, 9, were killed and 10 more were injured, including 8 children and 2 adults. Police arrested a 17-year-old male at the scene, but initially withheld his name because the suspect was under 18. Was under 18. That's when the false rumors began to spread online, claiming that an asylum seeker was behind the attack. The suspect, publicly named by police Thursday as Axel Rudakabana, was born in Wales. On Tuesday night, rioters stormed the streets in Southport, targeting a local mosque. In a statement, Southport Mosque said members of his congregation locked themselves inside while individuals hurled petrol bombs and bricks at the building. According to the Merseyside police, 53 officers sustained injuries in clashes with protesters. Beyond Southport, demonstrations flared up across England, including Manchester, Hartlepool, Liverpool, Bristol, and London, as well as Northern Ireland's capital, Belfast, over the following days. On Sunday, some 700 rioters surrounded a Holiday Inn Express in Rotherham, which is known to house asylum seekers. Windows were broken and a flaming trash bin was thrown at the building, according to South Yorkshire police. In Belfast, a cafe, supermarket, and several cars were inflamed following the protesters on Saturday night, the Irish Times reported. People attacked this place, racism against Islam and Muslims, especially the Muslim community, the supermarket manager told newspapers. Now, again, we'll go back to the point where they said that's when the false rumors began to spread online. And one of the reasons why I spent so much time last week talking about that phony receipt was that it's like something like that. Just having a rumor spread like that can evoke resentment And it can send people over the edge, right? Because again, we've been stoking, like the right has been stoking xenophobia, and they've been trying to otherize people who are coming to the United States for asylum or coming to the United States for a chance at a better life. And when we buy into some of these tropes about who these people are, these negative tropes about who these people are, all it takes is for one small thing to happen, where that could have been what happened to some migrants here in Chicago, in New York, in Washington, D.C., where you've got people who are resentful that the migrants are even there. It's Texas, Georgia, Florida, all these places, right? Where all you got to do is have one migrant do something and a false story goes out there. I'm not even so much a migrant doing anything, because this was, again, a story of, that dude was a native to the land. He wasn't a migrant, in much the same way that the conversations around Imani Khalif totally fucking made up. So now you've got people jumping out the window on stories that aren't even fucking real. People are out here trying to kill other folks based on bad information, bad stories, just misinformation and disinformation are abound. We are up to our fucking necks in it. Up to our necks in it. And now they have 53 police officers over there injured, and over 10 people injured and everything, and 3 girls are dead, and people are trying to attack a community whom they've already been predisposed and primed up to believe is a detriment to their community. We're seeing that same thing here. And sometimes it results in some lone wolf motherfucker deciding that he want to take matters into his own hand and go into a church and shoot 9 people. Or another lone wolf who goes into a grocery store and shoots people. I believe it was like another 9 victims there. Or go into a synagogue and shoot up people at the Tree of Life synagogue. Because they've been primed up for years with misinformation and disinformation. And sometimes these dudes, especially here in America, these lone wolves, a lot of times they do it because they think it's going to spark what happened over there in the UK. They want to get shit kicked off. They want the race wars. And all of this is being spread on Twitter. So again, like I said, at a certain point, I'm wondering, our use of Twitter, how often, what is it going to take? Really, what is it going to take for Twitter to just kind of get put out the paint? To be for real. Because I don't know. I just kind of wonder, man, at what point where will we meet our breaking point with a lot of this shit? I feel like it's coming. I just don't know when. But I feel like a breaking point is coming. And when you see misinformation and disinformation online, I think it's important for us to point that shit out. And to some degree, even clown the motherfuckers that's sharing it, so they'll they'll have a second thought about putting some bullshit out there for the rest of us to consume, right? But yeah, man, I'm gonna get on up out of here. I've been running my mouth for a little bit, man, and it's about time for me to get ready, lay it down, go to work tomorrow. But of course, before we get up out of here, I got to remind you guys how to get in touch with us over here at the Mr. Spann Official Podcast and let your voice be heard, man. Go ahead and hit up that hotline at area code 313-288-0485. There's area code 313-288-0485. Leave those voicemail messages. Those voicemail messages will get played here live on the show and responded to in kind. You can also email us here at feedback@thespanreport.com. That's feedback@thespanreport.com. Go ahead, leave us those emails, and of course, those emails will get right here, reply to here live as well. Follow me on Twitter and Twitter, Instagram, and Threads. My name on all 3 of those platforms is Mr._Spann. So go ahead, follow me there, chop it up with your man Spann throughout the week. Also, leave us a 5-star review on iTunes and or Spotify. Those 5-star reviews are the ones that get read here live on the show. We appreciate everybody who does that. It doesn't cost you a dime. Just a couple of minutes of your time to let everybody know why you're rocking with us over here at the Mr. Spann Official Podcast and the Spann Report Podcast Network in its entirety, man. Real talk. But I'm about to get on up out of here. I will talk to you guys again soon. But until next time, fam, peace.